COE champion over everything.
Champion over everything.
All right, welcome everybody to another episode of COE Champion Over Everything. Man, I am so excited about this particular episode. I got with me a living legend. I call him my friend, I call him my brother. Man, me and Mike been knowing each other pretty much 38, 39 years. We go way back, man. And this is my brother. And like I said, he is a living legend for the city of Greenwood, where we were born and raised. But then not only that, but what he's done, in the world of sports, what he's done as far as being inspiration to the community, and then what he's doing now where he currently is. So Mike, welcome to the show, man. Thank you for coming on, man. It's a pleasure to have you, brother. How is everything going?
Oh man, everything's going swell, man, and I appreciate you having me on your podcast. Uh, you know, Life is good, Reg. I tell people all the time, man. I have no complaints because it won't really do me any good anyway. So, just enjoying living life, just celebrated 11 years of marriage to a wonderful woman, and so
congratulations,
man, just
bro.
blessed, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's something about that number 11, man. Me and my wife just hit 11 in September, man. So it's definitely a beautiful thing, man. I met your wife, had an opportunity to meet your wife a few weeks ago, almost a little bit over a month ago at our 20-year class reunion, man. Beautiful spirit. Her spirit matches yours, bro. So, y'all compliment each other well.
I appreciate it. After so long, Reggie, they say, the joke is, you feed somebody long enough, they'll start to look like you. But when I tell you, me and my wife truly have grown together. Like we literally, thinking the same thing at the same time. So it's beautiful, man. And I couldn't be blessed with a better life partner than the one that the Lord has blessed me with.
Man, that's amazing, brother. Mike, as we kick off every show, man, we start with your champion story. And pretty much, man, we're going to get into it. The podium is yours.
Okay. And so just to tell a little bit about myself, born and raised in Greenwood, Mississippi, small town in the Delta. I'm the youngest of two children, grew up, in a two-family household with my mom and dad, my two-parent household, rather. And as I mentioned, the youngest of three siblings. But, growing up in a small town and, having limited opportunities, I was able to use sports, preferably the game of basketball, to build a platform that allowed me to, see some things and travel, do things that I wouldn't have otherwise had the opportunity to do. And, I was very fortunate to come up under some great coaches, Coach Cleo Lemon, Coach Lafayette Stribling, both who have passed away this year, which was tough for me. But just blessed to come up under, and Mr. Warren Jennings to play for, not just, good coaches, but good people who cared about their players. And by having such great coaches, the things that they instilled in us as players, a lot of those, morals and values still stick with me to this day. And so through athletics, I was able to, garner a lot of awards. The main ones I would say would be named one of the top 12 players in the state of Mississippi my senior year. People refer to him as the Dandy Dozen.
The Dandy Dozen.
Yeah, and also being nominated as a McDonald's All-American. And so those were two big things that I would say my biggest accomplishments that allowed me to earn a full athletic scholarship to play at Mississippi Valley State, in which I graduated in 2006. And I've been employed with the Social Security Administration since June of 2006. So basketball and athletics has been a big part of my life and shaping who I am. But it's also helped me during some of the most difficult times. And when I say help me, I'm talking about, the things that go into being an athlete, preparation, discipline, hard work. And so, Reggie, when I went through what I went through, it was that same mindset and those same principles that helped me and guided me through those adversities.
Got you. And man, for y'all that's listening and that will be watching this, this episode is definitely titled "The Perseverance of a Champion." And man, I couldn't think of a better champion than my brother Mike, because he has overcome some things throughout his life. Mike, is it okay to kind of share that particular story
Absolutely.
Okay. Champions, I hope y'all enjoying this week's episode of the COE podcast. But we got to take a quick break to acknowledge our sponsors. Aspire Pure, a premium ionized alkaline 9.5 pH plus water. That's a mouthful right there. That has a proprietary UV and ozone treatment to give you the smoothest and purest taste with every bottle. When I say smooth, I mean smoother than even me. So check out their website, www.aspirapura.com, and use the code COE10 to get 10% off your order. That's Aspire Pura. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, knowing Mike, knowing the scholar that he is, knowing the athlete, man, Mike is multi-talented, y'all. Like, he's mainly talking about basketball, but back in school, man, Mike played baseball, Mike played football. We were in the band together, awesome drummer. And, as we graduated and went our separate ways and went to college, Mike was on that fast track with basketball at Mississippi Valley. And unfortunately, there was a tragic situation that happened to Mike. So Mike's life changed a bit, man, from that situation. But going back to that word of perseverance, man, his story is just amazing. Mike, can you speak to that particular situation and that journey?
Oh, yeah. And so absolutely. So midway through my sophomore year playing basketball at Mississippi Valley State, we had just finished playing home game against Prairie View A&M. And just as normal college kids do, me and a couple of my teammates got together and, we're going to go celebrate the victory at a local nightclub. And in the midst of that party, a fight broke out, and in which, gunshots were fired. And I was unfortunately struck by a stray bullet in my back, leaving me paralyzed from the waist down. And so for me, it was difficult. And I would say hands down, one of the most difficult things that I've had to go through, my friend. But I'll say this, Reggie, a lot of times in life, the things that we go through and the things that, we sometimes think are meant to break us really mold and shape us into the individuals that we're meant to be. And so, just looking at my situation, I was blessed to, first of all, have such a loving and supportive family, but also my friends in the community, the city of Greenwood and the state of Mississippi. And so I received a lot of support, man, just receiving such great support. It was surreal, but it gave me that extra that I needed to continue on. And so even from being injured, I missed the semester of school, but I went back and did 2 summer sessions to catch up and graduate on time. And so I tell people all the time, Reggie, we all, as long as we living, gonna be faced with some of the trials and tribulations associated with living life, right? But I think it's up to each individual, whether they allow that situation to to defy them, or they defy that situation and really grow into, the people they're supposed to. And for me, I've tried to do that. So I'm just
Definitely.
grateful for the amount of support and that I've had along the way.
Definitely. And I remember, man, when I got the call, my mom called, told me what's going on. And when I say me and Mike, we close, she called, and me during that particular time, I was going through a tough spell because my dad had recently passed.
Right.
And the last place I saw my dad was in the hospital. And I'm like, man, my brother, he laid up in the hospital right now. Man, I really don't want to go, but I gotta go. I had to go show love and support just to make sure, he knew that I was still there with him. And a lot of times, y'all, a part of that perseverance is realizing that the picture is bigger than you.
Yep.
And I remember one of the articles that was written on you during that particular time, Mike. And it actually may have been a couple of years later, but you kind of talked about your rehab process. You were in Atlanta, and you had a particular roommate. Can you tell us about that particular side of the story and how your roommate helped inspire you during that particular time?
Yeah, and his name was Mr. Caputo. Man, I tell you, I remember it like it was yesterday, Reggie, because, being in that situation, for the first time, and I'll be honest, like it being so new to me, I was still dealing with it and wasn't really talking much and didn't really want to do my therapy or what, I was scheduled to do. But it was when they put me in the room with him that, he was in a motorcycle accident that left him paralyzed from the neck down. And so, he had the trach and, he required much more extensive care than me. And so, just looking at his situation and then just thinking about the situation that I was in, it made me realize that, my situation could be so much worse. I remember some nights where, his breathing apparatus would get clogged up and I would have to call the nurses for him, right? And so, it really made me put things in perspective. And I think that's the point that I realized, okay, now it's time for me to do what I need to do to get back to life and kind of pick up on my therapy. And I was also fortunate at that time, Ashley Ambrose, who is Mississippi Valley State graduate, he was playing in Atlanta for the Falcons at that time. And so he came by one day and spent some time with me. And, I just remember the talk that we had and, him just telling me, Mike, you got to do what you got to do. He made me realize that my mom, my therapist, my doctors, nobody could do it for me. And that, it was going to be up to me. So, that was big for me too. But Mr. Caputo definitely was motivation that I needed to start doing what I needed to do to get back on track in life.
Gotcha. And man, y'all, listening to Mike, and he's sharing some very valuable principles. But one thing that's coming to mind right now is the sense of community. We were created to be a part of community. And Mike, would you say that community support really helped nurse you back mentally, more so than physically?
Absolutely. I mean, just knowing, the number of people who supported me, the cards, and I got different sports paraphernalia from different, teams, Ole Miss, different SWAC schools. Ellis Williams sent me some autographed Tampa Bay Buccaneer gear. And so just, the outpouring of support and knowing that, I had people pulling for me made me realize that I wasn't in it by myself. And so, that's comforting within itself.
Right. So that's that perseverance coming in.
Absolutely.
Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Man, also I remember in a conversation that you mentioned that this particular situation helped open your eyes to realize that life was bigger than just sports, right? And y'all, to know Mike and to know his passion, and we're gonna get to some of the things that he's doing right now. Because I told him about a month ago, I said, Mike, man, I love you. I love what you're doing because you're still operating in your passion, and to see you, not be down on yourself and to keep on going is strength within itself, and it's inspiration within itself. But man, just that eye-opening experience of life is more than just about sports. How would you share that principle to our kids that's coming up now, that their main focus is just sports? Because like I said earlier, y'all, Mike is multi-talented. So Mike is bigger than just sports. So kind of give me your insight on that.
Well, and don't get me wrong, Reggie, sports and athletics, they teach some valuable lessons, man. Camaraderie, sacrifice, working together and just being a part of a team. But for me, I think bigger than just sports is being able to use it as a platform, right? So, if you're good athletically and if you maintain certain academic standards, then you can utilize sports to pay for school, to create opportunities that you may not otherwise have. And so sports have always been a big thing, but it wasn't until sports was taken away from me that, I really gained an appreciation for life, man. Reggie, coming up in Greenwood, and as you mentioned, I was well known. I was pretty prominent. So, I kind of walked in it. But, to go through such a humbling experience and, to have to rely on other people, it just gave me a greater appreciation for life, right? And so just that appreciation, man, it sticks with me to this day. And so I think that, going through what I went through and just being away from athletics, it really gave me that time to really evaluate and really just, think about what all is taking place. But also, as I mentioned, it just gave me a greater appreciation for the simple things like spending time with your family and, things that we often take for granted, man. So that was a big deal for me because it humbled me in ways that I probably otherwise wouldn't have been.
Got you. Now, Mike, you spoke to some of your coaches, man. You had G. G still around. G still high spirited. G is G.
That's right.
Matter of fact, happy Founders Day to G on today. But you had Coach Stribling, you had Coach Lemon. So tell us about those particular coaches and how, as you maneuvered, because you matriculated through life, they were at different stages for you. How did you grow through each coach?
Well, and I'm gonna start from G because he was my first one, right? So,
right,
me and Mr. Jennings, we had a father-son relationship. I'm gonna be honest. The first day he met me, he said, "I'm gonna make a basketball player out of you." And a couple of practices, we kind of went back and forth, but we got a little saying, Reggie, and I ain't gonna say it on here, but that saying gives you that mentality that regardless of what the situation, right, we gonna do what we gotta do to get through that. And so Mr. Jennings was big because he gave me that confidence, right, just to know that regardless of the situation, with proper preparation, it prevents poor performance. And then with Coach Lemon, he was just a disciplinary, right? We feared him out of respect. We respected him, but he was hard nosed. He required a lot of you, but he gave you a lot. And, Coach Lemon really instilled that discipline in me and made me realize what it took and the hard work that it took to be successful. And that's something that sticks with me to this day. And then Coach Stria, oh man, just a living legend himself. I'm gonna tell you, Coach Stria and what people don't realize about him is that playing for him, we went to church every Sunday during the season.
Wow.
And, to hear his story, just from coming up, down in Carthage, young man, and he always told about not having a suit, right, to go to college or having to borrow one to never wearing the same one, right? And so just his story made me realize that regardless of where you start in life, you can really go wherever you want to if you just put God first and continue to work, man.
That's it.
And so awesome. I think those are really, the big things that I took from each one of those, and all three, great guys, and I was blessed to play for.
Got you. Yeah, man. Definitely some legends, man, in their own rights.
Yeah. 60127 1633.
Take it.
Smoking Charles barbecue 41E.
Smoking Charles.
So good.
Come on now.
So good.
So Mike, you're still operating in your passion, and you're a part of a team that's a part of the Memphis Grizzlies, right?
That's right.
All right, and it's a nationally ranked team, and y'all have been traveling throughout the country, and so Mike is still balling, y'all. So that's the amazing thing. His passion has been basketball. He's been well known for basketball. And, he's operating now still in that passion. And that is, to me, that is the definition of perseverance. Knowing his story, and y'all are hearing the story right now, and knowing that he's still operating in his passion. Mike, how has that experience been for you? Because you're still practicing right now, you still hooping right now. So how's that experience been for you?
I tell you, Reggie, and when I say it's been a great experience, it's like that song that says reunited and it feels so
good. Yeah.
And so I was away from ball for a long time, but about 7 years ago, one of my coworkers introduced me to one of her church members who was going to a church and playing a little ball on the weekend. And I went one day and met my coach. And when I tell you, Reggie, I felt like a little kid, getting let out for recess on the playground, right? It just, getting in there and getting in the chair and, being able to compete, man, it gave me that drive, right? It reignited that fire that I had all along. But it's also made me take my health more serious, right? And so, I work out regularly. I try to eat right. But in my 7 years playing with the Memphis Rolling Grizzlies, and shout out to my teammates, because I'm going to share this with them, but we've competed and finished 10th and 3rd at the national tournament. In 1 year, which I made the first team all NWBA. And so it's given me like a new breath of life, per se. Gives me something to look forward to, and just gives me that balance between, work and something that I enjoy doing. And that's just giving me a greater quality of life altogether.
Awesome, man. And so last year, the beginning of this year, you were inducted into the Greenwood LaFleur Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, yep.
Right, the 2020 class.
Right.
Man, tell us about that induction ceremony, how you felt, during that particular time. Because I mean, we got some legends. See,
Yeah.
what y'all don't know is the Mississippi Delta has a lot of legends and
Yes.
in the sports community, specifically Greenwood, LaFleur County. So tell us about that. You know, just being around, you know, some of those legends, man.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, honestly, Reggie, it's been the highlight of my year. Shout out to Charles Cooler and the Future Champions Sports Organization. But they a few years back put together an organization to recognize, you know, some of the past great athletes of LaFleur County.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was the third year. And so, you know, Reggie, when I looked around the room and I saw my cousin Gerald Glass, and you know, I see Vincent Jones, Big Slim, and
Yeah,
you know,
Slim.
guys like Glenn Young, and you know,
Yeah.
just a lot of the past greats, and then to see myself and see my name, you know, alongside theirs. Man, it was a humbling experience to say the least. But it made me realize that, you know, all the hard work that I had put into, you know, wanting to be a good player, you know, that really solidified it for me to be listed as among, you know, the greats to do it from where we are from. When I looked at, you know, Al and Fred Ford, just all the greats, man, it really made me feel like my career, you know, had come full circle to be recognized in that light. And so that was something that I'm really grateful for, and really was the highlight of my year, man.
Yeah, yeah. And man, we talk about inspiration, and you know, a lot of times in conversations that I have, even to this day, when I start talking about basketball players, I have a cousin, shout out to it, Xavier Johnson. He's starting point guard right now in Indiana U. And man, you know, looking at the individuals, I know two Mikes. Well, I know three Mikes that are great players. I know Michael Johnson, and that's my cousin. You know, we grew up together, and that's Xavier's dad. I know Michael Archie, and of course, Michael Jordan. I don't personally know Michael Jordan, but in just that realm of greats, man, you know, you're definitely in that. But the inspirational piece, you know, you're continuing to inspire young athletes, young men to this day. And man, brother, I want to continue to just encourage you to keep being that voice, because man, you know, I've heard great things, I've seen great things. You know, you've had a number of articles that have been done on you. I think one of them you got highlighted in the alumni for Valley, in which you were interviewed during that particular time. And man, just that story, I definitely want to encourage you to keep sharing it, man. And thank you for coming on the platform to share it.
Absolutely.
But before we get ready to get off of here, Mike, you know, any key takeaways that you want to share to the up and coming students, the up and coming athletes, the up and coming kids of this next generation, man?
Or just to the people in general, Reg, I would say, you know, we all go through, you know, things in life, right? I can't really compare what I went through to the next person, right? And I hope you don't mind if I use you for an example.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
You know, your situation and losing your father, right? I couldn't fathom that, and I don't really know how I would make it through that, right? But I feel like, you know, we all go through things for a reason, and it's purpose in everything, right? And so we as people, we should share. We should share what we've gone through, because somebody else could be going through something similar. And just you shedding light, or you sharing information with them, right? They'll know that, okay, I'm not the only one that's going through this, or I'm not the only, and it could help them, you know, to better navigate themselves or their way through whatever they going through. And so I just think that we as people should share more in our experiences and what we've gone through, because you'd be surprised who's going through similar situations and who you can help just from sharing what you've been through. And so,
Yeah.
that's a big thing for me, Reg. And also, I've been working on a little project. I ain't gonna spill the beans on it too much, but just trying to create a platform that will allow me to do more of that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we all go through, but if me sharing my story can help somebody else who's going through something similar to better navigate their way through, then I want to do that. And I think that we as people should consciously make a choice to do that, because
Yeah.
ultimately it'll help them. Yeah.
Yo, and man, to Mike's point, y'all, when I reached out to Mike, I said, look, man, I got this podcast, and that's the purpose of this platform, is to bring people on who have encouraging stories. That's why we call it their champion stories, the testimony, because it's power in sharing your champion story. As Mike just said, you never know what anybody else is going through, but how what you went through can help them is more powerful and life-changing than what some of y'all may know. And that's why we started this particular platform, the Champion Over Everything. And I look forward to hearing more about that platform and that project that you got coming up. I know we ain't gonna talk about it on the air, but I definitely look forward to hearing about it. And if I can help out in any type of way, brother, you just let me know.
I appreciate it. And I commend you, Reggie, for creating this platform. I was watching the episode with you and our classmate, Dr. Kim.
Yeah.
And so, man, just having this platform and being able to share and motivate and encourage, it's much needed. And a lot of what I'm doing now is kind of getting into a mentor. I just finished my certification to be a certified mentor, peer mentor through the Christopher Reeves Foundation.
Okay.
And so, Reggie, like I say, I had people that, supported and helped me along the way. And so I just want to reciprocate that for someone who may be going through, any situation, not just, what I went through, but anything. And so if in any way I'm able to help, come back on the podcast, or whatever you think of that we could work together and partner on, most definitely give me a call.
Yes, sir, man. Mike, anything else you want to add that I didn't ask that you want to share with the people before we wrap it up?
Oh man, just to tell them, man, to stay encouraged. I know this past year we've been faced with some things that I know I've never seen the likes of. But in the midst of this pandemic, I just encourage people to continue doing what they need to do to keep pushing on. Whether it's for me, I know working out and meditating. I'm into my Bible real tough, but just doing the things that keep you motivated, keep you grounded to be able to continue to navigate, because the times that we living in, it's difficult. I'm gonna be honest, but I just feel like for me, when I'm able to stick to a certain regimen and do certain things, it helps me to better deal with what's going on around me. So I just encourage people to get back to life, man. Do the things you enjoy. I make a little music, Reggie. I share with our class. Yep. And so we're gonna talk about that on the next podcast. But just getting to those things that allow you a creative outlet to express yourself, and that's big for me. And so I just encourage people to keep their faith, stay prayed up, and just keep doing what keeps them centered and able to make it through these difficult times.
That's it, man. And I'm blessed, man, we just celebrated 20 years. We had our 20-year class reunion. And first time I was able to get back and really be a part of seeing pretty much everybody, because Mike, you know, I hadn't seen you since pretty much that day in the hospital.
Yeah.
And that was a journey within itself mentally for me. And but being able to connect with people that you grew up with, that love you, you know, love you unapologetically with no issues. They love your flaws. They love who you are. Unconditional love, man. I love it. And we had an awesome time. So getting back to life, you know, being outside, as they would call it, right? We were definitely live. We were definitely outside. And Mike, you know, one thing we joked about Mike got a sermon coming, y'all. He just don't know it yet.
Hey, put me on the spot, guy.
Hey, just about every time they ask somebody to pray, Mike immediately took the charge. And Mike, you got an awesome calling on your life, brother. And I look forward to that sermon. I look forward to hearing that sermon.
Yeah,
so
I appreciate it.
But yeah, man, Mike, before we end this thing, man, how can people get in contact with you? How can they find you on social media?
Okay, and so on Facebook, you can search Michael Archie. I hadn't been on my Instagram in some time, but I'm a blow the dust off that and get that back active. But yeah, just on Facebook, MikeArchie.com, Mike Archie, my Facebook page, and then also, of course, my Memphis Rolling Grizzly page. If y'all can follow that, like, share, donate, you know, nonprofit 501c. So any contributions to our organization would be tax deductible. So, you know, if you're able, we would greatly appreciate it. But I just, again, Reggie, want to take time and thank you, man, for having me on the podcast. You know, you and I go back, I'm gonna say 3 year daycare. It's 100 yeah. So when you say 30, 38, 39, that's real. And so I just salute you for what you're doing, and just continue to wish you and your family the best going forward.
Man, blessings on you, your family during this holiday season, man, and you know, throughout the rest of this journey that you have. And like I said, brother, if we can partner on something together going forward, definitely, you know, you got my number. Reach out to me, let me know. But champions, man, I hope y'all have enjoyed Mike's champion story. Please continue to share it, because you never know how his particular story can help somebody else that you all may be in contact with, that you all may be mentoring, and then you yourselves, you know, the perseverance of a champion. So that's our time for today. COE, champion over everything.
All right, my brother.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to COE, champion over everything. COE, we holding it down. 1.